Hi, welcome. I'm going to teach you a little bit about what Protandim NRF2 does in just a few minutes here. So, if you don't know what Protandim NRF2 does, it is a natural activator that triggers your youthful ability to produce your own body's natural antioxidants. So you don't need to be cramming all kinds of antioxidants in your mouth. You don't need to be eating 11 pounds of blueberries or 300 oranges every day. Your body is the best powerhouse of making antioxidants known to man. So, how do you turn on your youthful ability to make antioxidants? Well, back in the early 2000s, around 2005, Dr. Joe McCord was presented with a list of 41 botanicals, and he was asked to pick which ones he thought would best stimulate the production of your own antioxidants, and that is also known as stimulating the production of superoxide dismutase, or also known by the acronym SOD. So he picked his 5 favorite botanicals, which ended up being turmeric root, or turmeric root, however you want to pronounce it, green tea, bacopa, milk thistle, and ashwagandha. Each one of those independently studied in the human body had little to no effect. But when you combine all of them together, it becomes one of the greatest discoveries known to man. In fact, it was such a powerful discovery that it reduces oxidative stress in a clinical study in humans by 40% in 30 days. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on this video, but Dr. McCord said it himself. If you are an older individual, say 70s or 80s in age, it could reduce your oxidative stress by as much as 70% over a period of like 5 months. So the older you are, the higher your level of oxidative stress is, or in a technical sense, it is known as your T-bars, also known by a T-bar test, and that test measures your oxidized lipids or oxidized fats. The older you are, the higher your T-bars number is. And if you use Protandim NRF2 and you're young, you'll get probably a 40% reduction in your oxidative stress. But the older you are, the higher your T-bars number is. In fact, your T-bars chart, if you were to look at it on Dr. McCord's video, goes something like a nice 45-degree line, just like that. So, the older you are, if you're 80 years old, you're going to have a greater reduction in your T-bars level than if you are young, of course. So we're allowed to say a 40% reduction in oxidative stress because that is kind of without regard of age. But the older you are, the greater the reduction in oxidative stress. So how does it work? Well, we'll get into that in a second. So in a nutshell, Protandim NRF2 Synergizer is the quote, the what do they call it? The most important dietary supplement of our time, and I believe that fully because it reactivates a dormant process in your body that creates trillions of antioxidants every day to fight off the toxic effects of metabolism and aging in our environment. And so on the sheet here, the fact sheet from the website, it says it reduces oxidative stress, promotes the cell's natural ability to repair and rejuvenate itself. It helps support healthy aging caused by oxidative stress and protects cells from free radical damage. And it activates the NRF2 protein to enhance natural antioxidant protection. So let's get into that real quick here for those of you who don't know. So we already covered what's in it. How does it help you? It basically cleans out all the toxic, nasty stuff. Not all of it, but a lot of it. It makes an 80-year-old chemically similar to a teenager, if not a newborn child. if you look at that chart that I just showed you, that one here, well, everybody in the study, what did I do? Oh, there it is. Everybody in the study who took the Protandim, their oxidative stress looked like that. Flatline, almost flatlined, regardless of age. So an 80-year-old looked like a 5-year-old. A 30-year-old looked like a 5-year-old. A 12-year-old looked like a 5-year-old. So if you look at the, and I'll post Dr. Joe McCord's presentation, it's just 45 minutes, but everybody in the test had their oxidative stress look like a young child instead of a 60, 70, 80-year-old person. So that's good. Now let's talk about how it works real quick. All right, so we're going to take, and I know it's probably going to be backward on the chart, but here is your cell. Here's one of the cells in your body. Here is the nucleus, and we'll put a little smiley face on it. That nucleus is where all the DNA are stored, okay? So you have little receptors. We'll call them little TV antennas, okay? Little receptors on your cells. And what happens is you take the Protandim, and the Protandim is this little happy guy right here. This little molecule lands on one of the receptors on your cells, okay? And let me rip off my cheat sheet here, my little notes. Okay, so Protandim lands on your cell's receptors, and it activates a enzyme in the cell right here. This little we'll shade it, okay? That shaded enzyme right here is called a kinase. Kinase, there you go. So that little kinase there is an enzyme, and what it is a messenger, and it changes, it basically activates, it wakes up when the Protandim, we'll note that here, Protandim, the NRF2. No, it's not, that is not the NRF2. That is the Protandim compound activates the receptor, which activates the kinase, and the kinase cruises into the cell. It moves through the cell and activates another thing. We'll do hash marks here. This creature right here is called a protein right here. This is called KEAP1, KEAP1. So that's a protein. And what this little critter here does is it hangs on to the actual NRF2 protein. And we'll put that here, this little sphere. We'll just color it black. How about that? That's the NRF2. And that's the signaling molecule or signaling protein that will send a message to your DNA, your genome. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. So when the kinase goes over here and sends a message to Mr. KEAP1, it actually latches on a potassium molecule of some kind over here, and that potassium molecule forces the KEAP1 protein to release the NRF2. All right, I know we're getting a little complicated here, but we'll recap it in a second. Once the KEAP1 releases the NRF2 goes into the nucleus. It's small enough to enter the nucleus. And we're going to go ahead and replace Mr. Smiley Face with the helix of your DNA, okay? We'll go ahead and make it look something like that. That's my version of the DNA, is the little squiggle. So the NRF2 goes into your nucleus of your cells and messages the genome, and actually sends a message to about 500 to 600 different genes. You have about 25,000 of them. So what it does is it messages about 500 to 600 of them and tells those genes to start expressing superoxide dismutase and catalase. Those are two of the things that are your most powerful antioxidants. So once that happens, you have, we'll do little blobs here, and maybe some little smileys here. So we got some blobs, which will be the superoxide dismutase, and those are the catalase, and they go flying out of the cell. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and replace this right now. We're gonna just summarize it. So when you take the Protandim, the milk thistle, ashwagandha, green tea, bacopa, and turmeric, it goes in, latches on to the receptor, triggers the kinase to send a message to Mr. Keep1. The kinase is an enzyme or a messenger, and the Keep1 is a protein, and then the Keep1's got the NRF2 protein as well. So Keep1 releases NRF2, NRF2, which is why they call it the Protandim NRF2 activator, synergizer. The NRF2 goes into the nucleus, tells the DNA or the factory of your cell to start manufacturing antioxidants, superoxide dismutase or SOD, and catalase, and they go out of the cell, float through your body, and neutralize angry free radicals that are trying to steal good things from your healthy cells. They're trying to steal atoms and molecules and trying to malfunction everything. So, all right, so I think that's pretty much it. Why is Protandim important? Well, there you go. It increases, according to Dr. Joe McCord, it increases your superoxide dismutase and catalase by 30% after 3 months. Your SOD goes up by 30%, superoxide dismutase, and your catalase goes up by 54% after 120 days, and lowers your oxidative stress by 40% in a month. And if you're in the higher age range, it can lower your oxidative stress by as much as 70% over about a 5-month period. But we're not officially allowed to say that, just allowed to go with the 40%. All right, I think that's all we got now. This is the end of the Protandim NRF2 commentary. I will do a NRF1 commentary and a Protandim NAD. So stay tuned. Signing off. Thanks for watching.